How in the world am I just now hearing about this game? Hogwarts Legacy is the Harry Potter game that I have always wanted to play, but somehow didn't hear about until just a few days ago. Whether you've heard of it before today or not, I hope you'll join me in my overwhelming excitement for what looks to be shaping up to be an absolutely fantastic game. Now, I'm far from the biggest Harry Potter nerd out there, but when I was a kid and I would go to the movies, I'd always walk out of Harry Potter and Pokemon movies really excited, but also slightly sad, because I knew that those worlds didn't actually exist and we'd never be able to experience them for ourselves. Hogwarts Legacy is just about the closest we're going to get though, and my goodness, does it look good. Set for a holiday 2022 release on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series S and X, Switch, and of course PC, Hogwarts Legacy is an epic single-player RPG where you play as a fifth year who has just arrived at Hogwarts, possessing the ability to detect and control ancient magic. The best part about this game, though, is that if there's something in the wizarding world that you've always wanted to do, chances are you can do it in this game. Attending classes, making friends, exploring dungeons, casting charms and spells, brewing potions, flying on a broomstick, wandering the halls of Hogwarts, tending the magical beasts, you can do all of that, and then some. Today, I want to take a moment to nerd out a little bit and talk about this game, as I feel like anyone who is even the slightest Harry Potter fan is going to absolutely fall in love with this. First off, the game is set in the late 1800s, prior to the happenings of the Harry Potter books and movies. So, while the world itself will feel familiar to anyone who knows even the slightest bit of Harry Potter lore, most of the characters and professors we meet will be unfamiliar, with a few exceptions. For the most part, the game will tell a completely original story, not something we've experienced before, but will still be set in a world in which we all know and love, with familiar locations such as Hogwarts, Hogsmeade, the Forbidden Forest, and beyond, all of which we'll be able to explore for ourselves. After creating your character, as is a staple in any good RPG, you'll then be placed into your house. But, unlike how the sorting hat actually works, you will get to choose which of the 4 houses you'll want to play as: Ravenclaw, Slytherin, Gryffindor, or Hufflepuff, all of which will have completely unique common rooms, characters, and likely a massive impact on the story, and if that is the case, say hello to quite a bit of replayability. It wouldn't be Hogwarts without plenty of classes to attend though, and lucky for us, there are plenty. Herbology, charms, defense against the dark arts, potion making, flying class, and more. It's in these classes that we'll be taught new spells and how to use them efficiently, along with things like potion making and growing magical plants, both of which we can do in our spare time to better aid us in combat, which we'll touch on in a bit. Outside of the classroom, we'll be left to our own devices to wander and explore the massive expanse that is Hogwarts. The dev team has done a fantastic job of recreating places that we all recognize, such as the castle itself, the Great Hall, the Defense Against the Dark Arts classroom, to name a few. But unlike the Harry Potter movies, where the camera kind of jumps from one area to the next, we'll be able to explore the hallways connecting these areas, and you can count on them being full of intrigue and puzzles to be found and solved, including moving staircases, paintings that are more than they seem, hidden passageways, and so much more. Hogwarts isn't the only place we'll be able to explore either, however. Oh no! We will be able to travel to tons of other locations, including dungeons that resemble the Chamber of Secrets, the Forbidden Forest, the surrounding Hogwarts grounds, and even Hogsmeade, the nearby wizarding town, which will house all sorts of various vendors for us to stock up on potions and potion ingredients, magical seeds, and a place to purchase outfits and magical gear to customize our character beyond what we could do in character creation. The area surrounding Hogsmeade, however, is rumored to be a place where dark wizards and witches tend to roam. Assuming you paid attention in your charms and defense against the dark arts classes, you should be more than equipped to handle them. There are also rumors of a goblin rebellion, which seem to be very much true, led by a goblin by the name of Ranrock, so I imagine they will play a huge role in at least one of the game's many major storylines. You won't have to fight against these dark wizards, witches, and goblins by yourself, though. As you make friends with your fellow classmates, not only will they teach you new spells, but they can even accompany you on your journeys, aiding you in combat, each with a different story to tell, and presumably a sizable quest chain to partake in to aid you in getting to better know them. Natsai Onai, a brave adventurer, Poppy Sweeting, a young girl who enjoys spending more time with animals than she does with people, quite relatable if you ask me, and Sebastian Sallow, a charismatic Slytherin who isn't afraid of trouble, are just a few of the characters we'll meet as we attend classes, hang out in common rooms, and wander the hallways and gathering spaces of Hogwarts. Okay though, let's talk combat. Charms and spellcasting are going to be the base of most combat encounters, but the breadth of the spells available are what is going to make combat fun. With dozens of spells available, combining them to create combos and chain reactions is going to be a blast. Lifting someone into the air with Wingardium Leviosa and then slamming them back down into the ground with Descendo, for example, is just one of many spell combinations. There are also interactable items in the environment, such as explosive barrels, which can be ignited with Incendio, and weapons, which can be enchanted and then sent flying at your enemies. You'll even have the ability to harness some of that ancient magic to turn your foes into a magical pulp, and depending on whether you decide to play as a dark witch or wizard yourself, you might even be able to cast the killing curse of Avada Kedavra. Regardless of your alignment, however, magical plants and potions can also massively aid you in combat. Those herbology and potion classes aren't for nothing, after all. Magical plants can be summoned in combat to assist, or you can craft your own potions for an offensive or defensive boost in combat, like temporarily turning your skin into stone. You can even pull a mandrake from its pot to deafen and temporarily stun your enemies. But just where will we go to brew these potions and grow these magical plants? The answer to that lies in the Room of Requirements, a magical player-owned space which will provide us with the ability to brew potions, sow and harvest magical plants, upgrade our gear, and more. A house elf by the name of Deke will also assist us in the Room of Requirement, helping us to discover vivariums, or worlds within the Room of Requirement, that you can decorate however you see fit. To put it in non-magical terms, the Room of Requirement is the game's crafting room, while vivariums are the game's housing system. Or at least, that's what it seems. Vivariums are also where you can take care of magical beasts, some of which you can rescue out in the wild and nurse back to health once returned. This might even include hippogriffs, which can be tamed, mounted, and yes, even flown, among several other flying magical beasts. For those of us that don't yet have a hippogriff, however, we'll still be able to fly around the world on broomsticks after attending flying class. Not only will you be able to use your broom to fly around the world, but imagine how awesome it will be to weave in between the towers of Hogwarts and fly around the castle grounds. There will also be flying races in which you can compete in, but as of now, there's no word on whether Quidditch will be making an appearance, to my knowledge at least, though I really hope it does. Over the course of the game, your character will level up by completing quests, challenges, and just generally exploring the world, providing you with talent points that you can spend to improve your skills, your potions, magical plants, and more, allowing you to customize your playstyle significantly. When it comes to the magical gear you'll be wearing, it can either be bought from shops, found in chests, or crafted on your own. Gear can also be upgraded in the Room of Requirement, and seeing as how the gear system in an RPG is always a huge part of it, I'm really interested in learning more about how the system will work. And as if everything we've discussed so far isn't amazing enough, the world will also be littered with puzzles to solve, side quests to find and complete, full-on dungeons to tackle, shops and stalls dotting the countryside in quaint little hamlets, and above all else, as we explore this wonderful magical world, dynamic day-night cycles and absolutely gorgeous season changes will be taking place, alongside a variety of weather effects such as sunshine, lightning, rain, and snow. We don't have any info on pricing yet, other than that there will be no in-game purchases or microtransactions of any kind, but if I were to guess, I'd say this warrants a $60 price tag. If you can't tell though, I am a bit excited for this game, and I will 1000% be picking it up. I fully intend to cover the game here on the channel as new info is made available, and I'm super excited to do so because I'm in love with what we've seen so far. And to all those that refuse to get excited about massive games like this because they expect them to fail or fall short of what they've promised to deliver, I do realize that's a possibility, and that all we have to go off of is some custom curated content from the devs themselves, but screw it, I'm excited, and I hope I'm not the only one. If you've enjoyed this video though, please don't forget to leave a like and consider subscribing if you are hyped for this game, because I will absolutely be covering it further. My name's DoctorDDub, and I want to thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and until next time, as always, take care.